Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Full Spectrum D&D podcast. My name is Trey.
I am Rungren.
I almost messed that up.
I know.
I'm able to pull it back.
I know.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some monsters tonight.
Yeah.
And we have specifically, we're at the T's. And we have a monster I've been waiting on for a very long time.
I came to laugh
Thank you.
at
That
you.
was a perfect time for I came to laugh at you. It's a perfect time for that. It's the Tanarukks.
Okay.
So,
What is this?
Tanarukks is an old monster. For anybody who doesn't know, this is an old boy. Been around for a while. But basically, when Baphomet's corruption corrupts the leader of a people organization, and they embrace that abyssal power to make Tanarukks, using ferocious Tanarukks to bolster their followers' strength. So Baphomet allows them to create these Tanarukks. Specifically, he's also shared the secret with the cult of Grumsh. So you'll have Tanarukks created by the orcs. That's a new thing. That wasn't in older editions. But basically, these are like demon fiend berserkers. And as long as they have enemies to fight, they will keep fighting them. But if they don't have enemies to fight, they will fight their allies. So it's important to keep them locked up.
Yeah.
We have a little blurb from Tasha here that says, I believe spite can be an excellent motivator, but unchecked fury, that rarely leads to anything more than a big mess.
Yeah.
So these are like big orcish orcine
Yeah. Okay.
creatures.
Or seen.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Go. Or seen.
Covered in spikes. Covered. When I say covered, I mean the two big horns and the spikes all the way down. But very strong. So it is a CR5 monster.
Okay.
AC 14, hit points 95, speed 30 foot, resistant to fire and poison. It has a +4 to its strength mod, by the way. Just throwing that out there. Has magic resistance, so it has advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. Has a multi-attack, 1 bite attack, and 1 greatsword attack. And its greatsword is very much an orcish greatsword. It is like really not kept together well, but very spiky.
Gotcha.
The bite is a +7 to hit, reach 5 foot, +7 on CR5. Single target, 1d8 +4 piercing. And the greatsword is +7 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target, 2d6 +4 slashing. Then because it's created in the vein of an orc, it has aggressive, so it can move up to its speed towards the enemy and can see as a bonus action.
Yeah.
And then as a reaction, it has unbridled fury. In response to being hit by a melee attack, the Tanarukk can make 1 bite or greatsword attack with advantage against the attacker.
It sounds pretty balanced in my head, actually, running through it. At
It's a
5th
good
level,
monster.
that'd be a pretty fun fight, I think.
Yeah. I lost a character to a Tanarukk twice in 4th edition. Twice.
I'm just glad that you're brave enough to admit you played 4th edition. Go ahead.
That's very true.
Yes.
That's where my unbridled fury comes from. So next up we have
All the ideas. Give me all the ideas.
the buddies will die. That's true. Next up is the Tatibilis.
Okay.
I will be completely honest with you. I practiced that one a lot before getting here tonight.
Okay.
I did lose 2 characters to the Tanarukk in 2 different fights. Lost a character each, not lost 2 into. Tatibilis is from Dis.
All right.
He serves Dispater.
Okay.
And Tatibilis specifically is like his guy. He was seduced by Tatibilis and beguiled to where Tatibilis is now the primary advisor in Dispater's household. Not as strong as a lot of other fiends or demon lords.
Yeah.
But he is very clever. So it's a CR16, and just to give you a little idea of what Tatibilis looks like, imagine a goat demon's legs with bat wings and then the prettiest man you've ever looked at, but he's the palest person you've ever seen. That's him.
Okay.
And he's got like a 64 pack. That's him. That's Tatibilis.
Okay.
AC 20.
Oh, that's okay.
Hit points only 150 for a CR 16. But 40-foot walk, 60-foot fly.
He's fast. There you go.
He's resistant to, because he's a demon lord, cold, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magical attacks that aren't silvered. He's immune to fire and poison. And of course, he can't be charmed, exhausted, frightened, or poisoned. He's got a lot of cool stuff, but the big first one is 3 legendary resistances a day. Magic resistance, regeneration, 10 hit points at the start of his turn. If he takes cold or radiant, doesn't function at the start of his next turn. And he only dies if he starts at 0 and doesn't regenerate. Then he has ventriloquism. Whenever Tatibilis speaks, he can choose a point within 60 feet of him. His voice emanates from that point.
Uh-huh.
He has multi-attack with 1 silver sword, and he uses frightful word. Silver sword is +9 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target, 1d8 +4 force, or 1d10 +4 force if used with 2 hands, plus 3d10 necrotic. If the target's a creature, its hit point maximum is reduced by an amount equal to half the necrotic damage taken. So you take the damage, and then your maximum hit points reduced.
Yeah. So how many hit points does he have?
Only 150.
Okay.
So not too much. Not too much. Frightful word is where he can target one creature he can see within 10 feet of him. Target must succeed on a DC 21 wisdom save or become frightened of him for a minute. While frightened in this way, they must take the dash action and move away from Tatibilis by the safest route available on each of its turns, unless there's nowhere to move, in which case it needn't take the dash action. It can repeat the saving throw at each of its turns, ending the effect on success, but it doesn't get immunity.
Okay.
Feared again, and he's doing that every turn.
Yeah.
One of those.
Yeah. And with that on your wisdom, you're gonna be hitting cover your tanks probably.
Right. Then he's got spellcasting, because of course he does.
Yeah.
Charisma is his mod, which is a +8.
Ooh.
And a spell save of 21. At will, he can cast Alter Self, Major Image, Non-Detection, Sending, and Suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of RP-related stuff that can be done really cool here.
Yeah.
And 3 times a day each, he can cast Mislead and Modify Memory.
Ooh. That's pretty tough.
Then he's got a teleport he can do. 120 feet, takes all the stuff with him. And then he also can use Twisting Words. He targets one creature he can see within 60 feet of him. Target must succeed on a 21 charisma saving throw or become charmed for a minute. The charmed target can repeat the saving throw if Tatibilis deals any damage to it. Creature that succeeds on the charmed saving throw is immune to Twisting Words for 24 hours.
Okay.
Then he's got legendary actions. So the first one for 1 point is Corrupting Guidance. He uses Twisting Words. Alternatively, I think it's the first time we've ever seen a legendary action that had an alternatively.
Yeah.
He targets one creature that's already charmed by him that's within 60 feet of him. That charmed target must succeed on a DC 21 charisma save, or Tatibilis decides how the target acts during its next turn. He gets to take your turn if you're charmed by him.
Yeah. Oh, you failed. Hand me your character sheet.
That's cool.
Yeah.
The idea of, hey, I charmed the tank. Let me see what he can do.
Yeah.
Now he's going to go do this.
Yeah.
He can also teleport for 1 action. And for 2 actions, he can make a Silver Sword attack or use Frightful Word. Which seems like the best one is a single-use action. Why would I ever use the other actions on anything else?
I don't know.
I wanted to get a free attack, I guess. Well, sure, but...
Yeah.
I can make you attack 4 times. So
right. Why would I?
But that's Tatibilis. Demon Lord. Have over 100 million capital in battle lines. Very nice.
That's just greedy.
Very nice. You're ready for the DLC. I understand. Gotta get that XG revive. Next up is the Tenkali. Or Tenkali.
Okay.
These are scorpion folk. If you ever played Dark Souls, this is your man Scorpion Tark and Scorpioness Najka right here.
Yeah.
And it really does look like man Scorpion Tark. Like it's got the spiked helmet and everything, the golden armor. These are just monstrosities, large monstrosities. Yeah. They're scorpion men.
Yeah.
Scorpion women. They eat what they hunt, Pretty basic in that way. They can behave Baracus. CR 5.
Okay.
AC 15. Hit points 85. Speed of 40. They only speak Tenkali as language. So you can't just walk up to one and expect it to understand you.
Right.
Multi-attack, 1 longsword or spike chain attack, and 1 sting attack. The longsword it really feels like they came straight out of Dark Sun. Like they just had the gladiator stuff. The longsword is +6 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target, 1d8 +3 slashing, or 1d10 +3 if used with both hands.
That is where they're from, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is just that sheet. Moved over to 5e. The spike chain is a +6 to hit, reach 10 foot, single target, 1d6 +3 piercing, and the target's grappled. The escape DC is 11. If it's large or smaller, until the grapple ends, it's restrained, and the Tenkali can't use the spike chain against another target. And then, of course, the sting is +6 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target, 1d6 +3 piercing, +4d6 poison, and the target must succeed on a DC 14 con save or be poisoned for a minute. If it fails the saving throw by 5 or more, the target's also paralyzed while poisoned. Target can repeat the saving throw in each of its turns, ending the effect on success, but no immunity.
Okay.
The Revive 4, I understand, Will. I understand.
It's pretty cool. I don't think that poison's going to do much.
Paralyze is way more useful, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because at CR5, you got poisoned. That's not great, but...
Yeah. There might be a character in the group that you'll real catch you'll catch with it, right?
Yeah.
By CR5, if it's a balanced group, somebody in that group is gonna be able to take care of that real easy.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Make it a boss monster at CR3.
Yeah.
Bring its HP down just a little to
balance
it.
Yeah.
And then that poison's probably gonna be a lot more useful.
Yeah, I think so. That's good.
Or just fight 5 of them. Don't do that. It's a bad idea. They will wipe the party. Then we got some sheets for turtles here.
Okay.
Or if you want to run NPC turtles. Now, of course, for anybody who doesn't know, they're literally turtle people. It's just a generic stat block for the first one, which is CR 1/4. AC 17, of course, because it's a turtle.
Yeah.
22 hit points, 30 speed. TMNT time, yeah.
Right. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Hold breath for an hour. They can do that. Claw is +4 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target, 1d4 +2 slashing. Spear is +4 to hit, reach 5 foot, or range 20-60, single target, 1d6 +2 piercing, or 1d8 +2 piercing if used with 2 hands.
Yeah.
Light crossbow is +2 to hit, range 83-20, single target, 1d8 piercing. And then they have shell defense, of course, which is just like the player trait.
Yeah.
They withdraw into the shell until it emerges against a +4 bonus to AC. Has advantage on strength and con saves. While in its shell, it's prone. Its speed is 0 and can't increase. It has disadvantage on dex saves. It can't take reactions. And the only action it can take is a bonus action to emerge.
Yeah.
So, nice little generic turtle sheet.
Yeah, I like these ones thrown in there. The only thing would make it better if they had their own little section.
Yeah, I agree.
Where they put those ones in, because you can just, I don't know. You want to make an opposing group,
Right.
Maybe a rival group or just NPCs around town.
Rivals in D&D.
Or just, you have, you just need somebody for the town, and just in case you have the stats there.
Yeah.
Or, there's somebody to team up with a team.
Right.
You can, yeah.
You're saving an NPC and they're going to fight because they're fighting for their life.
Right.
Now, there is a druid variant of the turtle.
Nice.
With a sheet here. It's CR2, AC 17 still. Hit points 33, speed 30. Hold breath still. It has multi-attack for 4 claw attacks or 2 Nature's Wrath attacks.
Oh.
It's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Now, the claw doesn't do a lot of damage. It's +4 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target, 1d4 +2 slashing. But you get 4 of those. CR2, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Nature's Wrath is a little bit better. It's +4 to hit, range 90 foot, range spell attack, single target, 2d6 +2 damage of a type chosen by the turtle, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder.
That's cool.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
Then, of course, it still has shell defense, and it has spellcasting.
Yes.
Wisdom.
Yes. They could be allies too.
For sure.
These ones he's getting out of the one he's going over right now, like the last one for turtles, and we've gone over a couple others in this book.
Yep.
It's not just monsters. These could be your NPC allies.
Mm-hmm. They have Wisdom as their spellcasting mod. It's +2.
Yeah. That's druid.
Save is DC 12. At will, they can cast Druid Craft and Guidance.
Okay.
And then twice a day each, Cure Wounds, Hold Person, Speak with Animals, and Thunder Wave. And one aspect that I wanted to bring up when it comes to these NPC stat blocks is if you are running a party that doesn't have a healer, and you want to run through a really rough encounter or a really rough dungeon that you've made, and you feel like they might need just a little bit of offhand healing, something like a druid that they've picked up from the local area to purify the dungeon that has 2 heals a day.
Yeah.
That's a really good way to balance that out of. If things get too bad, hey, your NPC that's with you is going to heal, but they can only do it so many times.
Yeah.
So be careful.
Yeah. Well, I like the fact that I like that they put those in there with the monsters. They kind of had something like that before, but not. I like these better.
Yeah. Yeah, in case you're running a group of rangers that technically could heal, but aren't very good at it.
Yeah, but then you may want the other turtle that can take some, tank.
That's true. That's true. Got a party of mages.
Yeah.
Next up is the Trapper, which is kind of a cool creature in a lot of ways. It's a brand new creature to D&D. It is a manta-like creature that lurks in subterranean environments and can change the color and texture of its outward-facing side to blend in with surroundings. Kind of like a roper.
Okay, I was going to say, is this because that's sounding very familiar. And I was like, you sure it's a new creature?
Yeah, so this is like a new variant of the roper, basically.
Okay.
Whereas the roper is like a tentacled creature that looks like a stalagmite.
Yes.
The Trapper is like an actual like flying manta that hunts in caves.
Nice.
Like a mix between an octopus and a manta in a cool way.
It's terrifying.
Yes. And it's also a large monstrosity. So like this thing's gonna get you.
Manta rays are huge.
Yes. A Trapper needs to eat a halfling-sized meal once per week to remain sated. If they can get a steady supply of food, they won't move anywhere else. They'll stay in that section of the cave.
Yeah.
Pretty common in dungeons. But a Trapper on the verge of starvation, let me not mix those up and say sturge of starvation, can defy its instincts and abandon its old territory in search of better hunting. It's only CR3. AC 13. Hit point 68.
Okay.
20-foot walk, 20-foot climb. Not a fly speed. Surprises me.
Right.
But it has false appearance. Just have DPS 9999. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good number. False appearance. If the Trapper's motionless on a floor, wall, or ceiling at the start of combat, has advantage on initiative roll. Moreover, if they haven't seen it move, creature must succeed on a DC 18 investigation check to discern that it isn't part of the floor, wall, or ceiling. Then, of course, it has spider climb. It can climb difficult surfaces, including upside down on ceilings, without needing to make an ability check. And its only attack is smother. But look, when you have an attack called smother and you're a giant
creature,
manta ray, that's horrifying.
Yeah.
One large or smaller creature within 10 feet of the Trapper must succeed on a DC 13 dex save or be grappled. Escape DC 13. Till the grapple ends, the target takes 3d6 plus 3 bludgeoning plus 1d6 acid damage at the start of each of its turns.
Yeah.
While grappled in this way, the target is restrained, blinded, and deprived of air.
That's not good.
The Trapper can only smother one creature at a time.
Right. Really rough against a very small group.
Yep.
Though, where it's sitting at with AC, I think by the time you're there fighting it, you're gonna get some hits in. So.
Yeah, I think so. And
so
I think this is really for, hey, the rogue's gonna go scout ahead.
Yeah. That could be a very deadly encounter.
Be careful.
Be careful, man.
So next up, we have some trolls.
Okay.
They're pretty standard for trolls. I've got 4 stat blocks here for you.
All right.
And they're all interesting, but still kind of just trolls, right?
Okay.
First up is the Dire Troll. This is a troll that has grown to unusual size, like all dire creatures.
Yeah.
CR 13. It's a huge giant. AC 15. Yeah, rogues can scout ahead. That's a pretty standard thing when you're doing like dungeon crawls.
Yeah.
Scout ahead to check for traps.
Yeah.
And then 15 AC, 172 hit points, speed of 40 foot, resistant to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magical, immune to frightened and poisoned.
Okay.
Has regeneration, of course. 10 points to start each turn. Acid or fire to reduce it. But it doesn't like this is special regeneration because
Yeah.
it's a troll.
Yeah.
You know, it regains only 5 hit points at the start of its next turn if it takes acid or fire, and it dies only if it's hit by an attack that deals 10 or more fire or acid while the troll has 0 hit points. You gotta put it down.
Yeah.
Coup de
Yeah.
grace.
Yeah.
Multi-attack for 1 bite and 4 claw attacks. The bite is... anyone can scout ahead. That's very true. Anybody can. It's just,
Yeah.
Rogue's pretty good at scouting for chaps.
Yeah. And then do you want to divide the group up down here? Do you feel safe going by yourself?
Right. Whereas if you're in the wild, maybe the ranger's going to be the one that goes and scouts,
Yeah.
or the barbarian that has a high survival.
Yeah.
But again, in the wild, there are other things
Yeah.
that, hey, maybe you don't want to, be careful.
You feel safe in this area by yourself?
Right. Split the party always works out. The bite is a +11 to hit, reach 10 foot, single target, 1d8 plus 6 piercing, plus 1d10 poison. Not too bad.
No.
But then there's going to be 4 claws, which are +11 to hit, reach 10 foot, single target, 3d6 plus 3 plus 6 slashing.
Okay, that's going to add up.
Boom,
pretty
boom,
quick.
boom, boom.
Yeah.
And then it has a dervish.
Oh, nice.
Whirlwind of Claws recharges on a 5 to 6. Each creature within 10 feet of the troll must make a DC 19 dex save, taking 8d10 slashing on a failed save, half as much on a successful one.
That's pretty rough. That's a pretty good move.
I like it.
Yeah. I like that one too.
It
That's
does
tough
work
to-
for Scooby-Doo. That is
Yes,
true.
it does.
Doesn't always work in D&D. So, do you like your trolls?
Sure.
But what about a troll that focuses on necrotic energy?
Okay.
A rot troll.
All right.
CR 9, AC 16, 138 hit points, 30 foot speed, immune to necrotic damage, of course, which is really interesting because I would have probably made it regenerate when it takes necrotic damage because that's what it's changed it. It's been absorbing necrotic energy.
Yeah. I don't know. That's. Yeah.
But it's just immune.
Okay.
It has rancid degeneration instead of regeneration. At the end of each of the troll's turns, each creature within 5 feet of it takes 2d10 necrotic damage unless the troll has taken acid or fire damage at the end of its last turn.
Oh,
That's cool.
that is.
Still has the same multi-attacks, although it's 1 bite and 2 claws now. And the damage has, of course, changed. Now it's a +8 to hit instead of +11 because we come down in CR.
Right.
Reach 5 foot, single target, not quite as big. 1d10 plus 4 piercing, plus 3d10 necrotic,
Okay.
which hurts more than the other bite,
Yeah.
but it has less claws to hit with. Plus 8 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target, 2d6 plus 4 slashing, plus 2d6 necrotic. This is going to hurt, but it doesn't really have much more than that. It's that rancid degeneration that's going to get you.
Yeah. If it gets you in a small room, you're in bad shape.
Yeah, everybody's taking damage.
Yeah. The immunity to necrotic is okay,
Yeah.
but you're not. I don't know unless you just decide to blight it off the bat. I don't know that a lot of when thinking through spells that people use in a fight, they're not really going to be throwing necrotic.
It's really just blight. Is Witch Bolt necrotic? And then I guess Toll the Dead, and that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
Ad time. Is it ad time?
cool. It's
I get
time
that
for
right?
ads.
Maybe.
Next up's a weird one, man. The Spirit Troll, which looks like a ghost, but guess what? And it is a ghost, but guess what kind of energy it's been absorbing?
Necrotic?
No, psychic. Why? Why is it a ghost troll? Because it absorbs psychic energy. Specifically, it's that the physical form has degenerated, and now the non-physical form regenerates.
Okay.
So the psyche survives, but the body's insubstantial. That's why.
All right.
I don't know. That feels a little.
Yeah.
That feels a little hand wavy to me. As hey, we just wanted a ghost troll. All right,
Yeah.
I'm with you. You don't need to give me a reason.
Yeah.
CR 11, AC 17, 130 hit points, 30 foot speed.
Okay.
Resistant, of course, to acid, cold, fire, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, or non-magical because it's a ghost.
Yeah.
Then it can't be exhausted, grappled, paralyzed, petrified, knocked prone, restrained, or knocked unconscious because it's a ghost.
Yes.
It has incorporeal movement. It can move through other creatures and objects if they were difficult terrain. It takes 1d10 force damage if it ends its turn inside an object. It does still have regeneration, but if it takes psychic or force damage, the trait doesn't function at the end of its next turn, which makes no sense to me since it's been absorbing psychic damage.
Yeah.
This is a weird...
I don't think they thought this one through.
Right. Multi-tech, 1 bite, 2 claws. The bite is +7 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target. 3d10 plus 3 psychic, and the target must succeed on a DC 15 wisdom saving throw or be stunned for a minute, which is oof.
Yeah.
The stun target repeats the saving throw and the enemy's returns any of the effect on success. The claw is +7 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target. 3d10 plus 3 psychic damage. I don't see any reason why I'd ever run this creature.
No, I don't like this creature very much.
Yeah, this is maybe my least favorite creature in the book, to be honest.
I think so, yeah.
Like, it's just, everything else at least feels like an interesting idea.
Well, I mean, if you can go with the psychic for the ghost, I'm kind of okay with that, you know. There's a psychic imprint left from where a troll died. But
Right.
It doesn't feel like, I don't know, it doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah. Finally, for trolls, we have the Venom Troll.
Okay.
Look, I'm going to be honest with you. Somebody looked at the boomer from Left 4 Dead and went, hey.
We need that in D&D?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you say poison? Yeah, so the Venom Troll has been absorbing poison. And it is, of course, immune to poison. But it does poison damage, which it's only CR7, so this is around the time that poison can still hurt,
Yeah,
but also
yeah.
around the time where you're probably going to have an answer to poison. AC 15, 94 hit points, 30 speed. It has Poison Splash when the troll takes damage of any type but psychic. Each creature within 5 feet of the troll takes 2d8 poison damage.
But psychic.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's fair. I walked into that one. It, of course, has regeneration. If it takes acid or fire damage, trait doesn't function, just like a regular troll. It has multi-attack, 1 bite, 2 claws. The bite is +7 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target. 1d6 plus 4 piercing, plus 1d8 poison, and the target's poisoned till the start of the troll's next turn. That damage is not enough, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Not by far from CR7. The claw is +7 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target. 2d6 plus 4 slashing, plus 1d8 poison. That's okay.
Yeah.
And then it has Venom Spray, which recharges on a 6. The troll slices itself with the claw, releasing a spray of poison in a 15-foot cube. The troll takes 2d6 slashing damage, which can't be reduced in any way. Each creature in the area must make a DC 16 con save. On a failed save, it takes 4d8 poison damage and is poisoned for a minute. Successful save, half as much damage and isn't poisoned. Poison creature can repeat the saving throw in each of its turns.
Yeah.
It's a cool idea. I just think they might be overvaluing the damage that poison is going to do.
What? Yeah. I'm sure this would terrorize the village.
Oh yeah.
Once the heroes show up. And this kind of nails something home for me. It almost seems like D&D would benefit. Let's separate this out a little bit. Let's have like a poison, a toxin, and a venom.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
Instead of just flat poison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It accounts for all that.
And then give the venom back to the UNT.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a different thing,
Yeah.
kind of, you know. Though the effect may be the same, kind of the same. It's a different.
Right.
And it's weird because they have hints of that. Like,
This poison from the scorpion people earlier, the Tenkali also paralyzes.
yeah.
Like, well, that's a different type of poison then.
Yeah.
But it's just still called poison, you know?
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Anyway.
And that's our T's.
Oh, all
From
right.
there, we go into the U's
All right.
with a Eulitharid, which is very rarely when a tadpole from the brine pool of an elder brain
Yes.
retake, is implanted into a creature. That creature transforms into an Eulitharid, a larger and more potent mind flayer with 6 tentacles.
Yeah.
So these are special mind flayers.
Okay.
CR9.
Okay.
Normally, by the way, these are outcasts
Oh,
because the other mind flayers feel a little inadequate next to them.
okay.
And so they will either flee or they will dominate that group of mind flayers and become the one in charge.
Okay.
CR9, AC 15, 127 hit points, 30 foot speed. They have creature sense. The Eleutherid is aware of the presence of creatures within 2 miles of it that have intelligence score of 4 or higher. It knows the distance and direction to each creature, as well as each creature's intelligence score, but can't sense anything else about it. If a creature is protected by mind blank, or non-detection, then it can't be perceived in this manner.
Okay.
Has magic resistance. Has, of course, Psionic Hub, which we talked about when we originally talked about the Elder Brains. If an Elder Brain establishes a psychic link with the Eleutherid, the Elder Brain can form a psychic link with any other creature the Eleutherid can detect using its creature sense. Any such link ends if the creature falls outside the telepathy range of the Eleutherid and the Elder Brain. The Eleutherid can maintain the psychic link with the Elder Brain regardless of the distance between them, so long as they're both on the same plane of existence. So
Okay, so you got two options with this one. You either run it as an outcast or a boss.
right.
That's kind of you got both those stories intertwined in just a character.
Right. They also had a really interesting thing here about the Psionic Hub. If the Eleutherid is more than 5 miles away from the Elder Brain, it can end the psychic link at any time. The Eleutherid can choose
Not to be linked.
not to be linked to the Elder Brain anymore, which is not something Mind Flayers do.
Yeah.
That's
which
a
is
cool-
which is another reason why they would be outcasts as
Right.
well.
That is a cool
Because
cool
the Elder
addition.
Brain would always be questioning the loyalty.
Right.
Interesting. I think interesting.
I like this creature.
Yeah. A little wrinkle in the Illithids.
I like its abilities too. Tentacles is its attack, of course.
Yeah.
+9 to hit, reach 10 foot, single target. 4d10 +5 psychic. At CR9, that's very good.
Pretty good.
If the target's large or smaller, it's grappled, DC 14, and must succeed on a DC 17 intelligence save or be stunned until the grapple ends.
Oh.
Pretty potent.
Yeah.
Then, of course, it has Extract Brain.
Yeah.
+9 to hit, reach 5 foot. 1 incapacitated humanoid grappled by the Eleutherid. 10d10 piercing damage. If this damage reduces the target's hit points to 0, the Eleutherid kills the target by extracting and devouring its brain.
Right. Yep.
Then it has a Mind Blast, which is an AoE.
Okay. That's pretty good.
It's a 60-foot cone, recharges on 5 or 6. Each creature in that area must succeed on a DC 17 int save or take 4d12 +5 psychic damage and be stunned for a minute. You can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, of course.
Yeah.
This thing's goal is to stop you where you're at and then eat your brain.
Yes.
It also has spellcasting, of course, psionics. The mod is int, which is a +5. Spell save DC 17. At
tough.
will. What's that?
That's pretty tough.
Yeah. At will, detect thoughts and levitate. And once a day each, dominate monster, feeble mind, mass suggestion, plain shift for itself only, project image, scrying, and telekinesis.
Ooh.
It's a tough monster.
Yeah, it is. You got a pretty cool spell list there, too.
Not a lot of hit points. You're going to burst it down,
Yeah.
but it's going to do some damage till then.
But I feel that this is the kind of creature that it's going to watch your party for a while.
Yeah.
Before you ever see it. So it's going to know kind of what the party will do.
I think so too.
Not going to sneak up on it necessarily.
Right. It knows you're there.
Right. If your intelligence higher than 4, you're there, buddy.
Right. And that's our U's.
All right.
So next up are the V's, and that's probably as far as we're going to get tonight.
Oh,
We'll
okay.
see. We might be able to start off the W's.
Oh,
So starting with the V, we have the Vampiric Mist.
this is an old creature.
Yeah. So billowing clouds of fog lurk around vampires' castles normally.
Yeah.
Especially Strahd, right? And then the Shadowfell.
Yeah.
And within those lurk the Vampiric Mist themselves. The remnants of vampires that were prevented from finding rest.
Yeah.
Indistinguishable from the mist that they lurk in. They strike unseen and undetected to bleed their victims dry. So, CR3. AC 13. Hit points 30. 0-foot walk. 30-foot fly. Hover.
Yeah.
Resistant to acid, cold, lightning, necrotic, thunder, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magical attacks. Immune to, you guessed it, poison. Can't be charmed, exhausted, grappled, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, knocked prone, or restrained. You can kill it with a couple different ways, but fire's definitely one of them. It's not resistant to fire.
Yeah.
It has life sense. The mist can sense the location of any creature within 60 feet of it, unless that creature's type is a construct or undead. It has forbiddance. The mist can't enter a residence without an invitation from one of the occupants.
Yeah.
And it has misty form. The mist can occupy another creature's space and vice versa. In addition, if air can pass through a space, the mist can pass through it without squeezing. Each foot of movement in water costs 2 extra feet rather than 1 extra foot. The mist can't manipulate objects in any way that requires fingers and manual dexterity. It's hypersensitive to sunlight. It takes 10 radiant damage whenever it starts its turn in sunlight. While in sunlight, the mist has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks. And of course, it has unusual nature. Why would it need to sleep?
Right.
It only has 1 action, which is Life Drain. Touches 1 creature in its space. The target must succeed on a DC 13 con save. Undead constructs automatically succeed. Or it takes 2d6 plus 3 necrotic. The mist regains 10 hit points, and the target's hit point maximum is reduced by an amount equal to the necrotic damage taken. This reduction lasts until the target finishes a long rest. Target dies if its hit point maximum hits 0.
Yeah.
So just bam, here's necrotic. Double it technically because your hit point maximum is being reduced by that.
Yes.
And it regains 10 HP.
Right.
It's pretty solid.
And it's going to be, these obviously, you set up the environment to catch a group off guard with these, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be you're going to be in the Shadowville. You're going to be around Straw's Castle, somewhere like that.
Right.
With heavy fog and mist. Yeah.
And suddenly it strikes.
I don't think you're going to count on this to be your, to be at like the big encounter,
Right.
a big encounter, right?
I agree.
This is going to hit, and I think the group's going to deal with it.
Oh, yeah.
Do it
13 AC, 30 hit points?
Yeah.
That thing's going down.
Yeah, but 1 or 2 of them just get in a couple of hits, and then soften up the party to be ahead of the big bad guy. It's a neat thing.
Yeah, it is. It's really thematic.
Yes.
Speaking of thematic, how you feel about Vargullies? Vargulli?
I don't like them.
Vargouile?
Yeah.
Varguil?
Varguil.
Probably
Gargoyle? Like gargoyle?
It could be Vargoyle. Yeah, it could be.
I don't know.
I didn't practice that one because I had no frame of reference. So these are severed heads with their ears have become bat wings. They come out of the abyss. They're based on demons. They're tiny fiends. They probably are Vargoyles then.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're horrifying to think about, so I don't want to think about them very long. CR1, AC 12, 18 hit points, 5-foot walk, 40-foot fly,
Oh, yeah.
resistant to cold, fire, lightning, immune to poison. They understand Abyssal, Infernal, in any language it knew before becoming a Vargoyle, but can't speak. Of course, these were originally people.
Yes.
That's how fiends work, right?
Right.
So just keep that in mind. Now, there is a certain little special thing here, which is some Vargoyles roam free on the material plane, and they can paralyze people with fear. But if sunlight or the use of a daylight spell can delay the transformation into a Vargoyle, and then magic can overcome the curse.
Okay.
So, just don't let them corrupt you.
Catch it early before it spreads.
Don't let them curse you. The bite is a +4 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target, 1d6 plus 2 piercing, plus 3d6 poison. I'm good. I understand.
Yeah.
The abyssal curse that they have is where they target one incapacitated humanoid, and we're going to get to how they incapacitate people soon. Within 5 feet of it, the target must succeed on a DC 12 charisma saving throw or become cursed. The cursed target loses 1 point of charisma after each hour as its head takes on fiendish aspects. The curse doesn't advance while the target's in sunlight or the area of a daylight spell. Don't count that time. When the cursed target's charisma becomes 2, it dies and its head tears from its body and becomes a new Vargoyle.
Well, that's not nice.
Casting Remove Curse, Greater Restoration, or a similar spell on the target before the transformation is complete can end the curse. Doing so undoes the change made to the target by the curse.
Okay. Look, bottom line, these are disturbing.
Yep. And then on a recharge on a 5 or 6, they have Stunning Shriek. The Vargoyle shrieks. Each humanoid and beast within 30 feet of the Vargoyle and able to hear it must succeed on a DC 12 wisdom save. Not too high, but somebody's going to fail it.
Yeah.
Or be frightened of the Vargoyle to the end of the Vargoyle's next turn. While frightened in this way, a target is stunned. If a target saving throw is successful, or the effect ends for it, the target's immune to the stunning shriek of all Vargoyles for 1 hour.
Okay.
Not day,
Okay.
1 hour.
Man, It'd be awful. Like, you run a group, they get wiped by these things.
Yep.
They start another group, they catch up to this point, and now they got to fight Vargullies with the old group's head.
Yep.
It'd be terrible.
They're something for sure.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Vegepygmies.
Okay. These are interesting.
These are exactly what they sound like.
Yeah.
These are vegetable pygmies. There's a couple different stat sheets here, and they're pretty fun. These are fungus creatures that live in bands, hunting for sustenance and spreading spores. They're also called mold folk or moldies, which sounds slightly racist to me, but I don't even know these people. But Vegepygmies inhabit dark, moist areas, so they're mostly found underground, right, or in forests.
Okay.
They do feel kinship with other plants and fungus creatures, and their bands coexist well with creatures such as myconids, shriekers, and violet fungi. They can eat meat.
Okay.
They can take in nutrients from the soil, but they much prefer to eat flesh.
Oh.
So, they also communicate by hissing. As well as gestures, RE7, yeah. Kind of. Take two, they're small. So first off, we have the basic Vegepygmy, right? These originate from the remnants left behind when the humanoid or giants killed by Russet Mold. Which we're going to get to. One or more Vegepygmies emerge from the corpse a day later. So these are CR 1/4, AC 13, hit points 13, speed 30, resistant to lightning and piercing damage.
Okay.
Interesting. They only speak Vegepygmy. They have plant camouflage. They have advantage on dexterity stealth checks made in terrain with ample obscuring vegetation. They have regeneration. They regain 3 hit points at the start of the turn. If it takes cold, fire, or necrotic damage, the trait doesn't function at the start of its next turn. It dies only if it starts its turn with 0 hit points. It doesn't regenerate. Then they have a claw, +4 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target, 1d6 +2 slashing. And a sling, ranged attack, +4 to hit, range 30, 120, single target, 1d4 +2 bludgeoning.
Okay.
Kind of cool for a basic.
Yeah, a little warrior thing.
Yeah.
Take some smacks, give out some smacks. They make a good little attack group.
For sure.
Then
we have their chief.
Okay.
The
The
Vegepygmy chief. Vegepygmy is hard to say, okay?
Okay.
So the chiefs have grown tougher and developed spore clusters on their bodies. And so they are CR2,
Okay.
AC 14, 33 hit points, 30 feet. Vegepygmy. They still have plant camouflage. They still have regeneration, but they get 5 instead of 3. And they have multi-attack. 2 claw attacks or 2 spear attacks. The claw is +4 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target, 1d6 +2 slashing. The claw is, or I said the claw, the spear is melee or ranged, +4 to hit, reach 5 foot, or 20/60. Single target, 1d6 +2 piercing, or 1d8 +2 if used with 2 hands. Then once a day, the chief can use spores. A 15-foot radius cloud of toxic spores extends out from the Vegepygmy. The spores spread around corners. Each creature in that area that isn't a plant must succeed on a DC 12 con save or be poisoned. While poisoned in this way, a target takes 2d8 poison damage at the start of each of its turns.
Okay.
For CR2, that's really good.
Yeah.
Target can repeat the saving throw at each of its turns, ending the effect on success. That's good poison damage.
Yeah. We'll say right there at the low levels.
It's a good thing that these weren't around when I was playing.
I did.
Circle of Spores.
Yeah.
I'd have had a whole colony of these things. Now, the Thorny Vegepygmy is if a beast like a dog or a bear dies from a Russet Mold, which we're still going to get to. It becomes a Thorny Vegepygmy instead, which is a quadrupedal instead of bipedal.
Okay.
They're less intelligent than other Vegepygmies, but they're larger and more ferocious and have thorn-covered bodies. It is a CR1, AC 14, 27 hit points, 30 speed, still resistant to lightning and piercing, just like the chief and the Vegepygmy. It has plant camouflage, of course. It has regeneration for 5. It has thorny body at the start of each of its turns. The Thorny deals 1d4 piercing damage to any creature grappling it.
Okay.
Sure,
Yeah.
Then it has a bite, +3 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target, 2d8 +1 piercing. This is just another thing to have involved in the fight.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to win the fight for you, but it's there.
No. Sell it a little bit with the spikes and the disturbing looks.
Yeah. And it's a cool looking creature. It's like a dog covered with spikes.
Yeah.
You know, or a salamander covered with spikes, I guess.
These are really good Underdark creatures.
They are. They really are. And then finally we have the Russet Mold. Now this is not a stat block. This is a part of the world.
Okay.
And I love this. So basically nobody knows where the Russet Mold came from. There's legends that it came originally from a mountain range where an adventurer discovered it and Veggie Pygmies in a metal dungeon full of strange life. Some say that they found Russet Mold in a crater left by a falling star, with Veggie Pygmies infesting the forest nearby. Really, really hitting that color out of space vibes right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's only found in places that are dark, warm, and wet. Russet Mold that spreads out across a metal object can be mistaken for rust. And a successful nature or survival check, DC 15, is required to identify it.
Okay. I like how they give all the stats right there.
Yes. Any creature that comes within 5 feet of Russet Mold must make a DC 13 con save as the mold emits a puff of spores. On a failed save, the creature is poisoned. While poisoned in this way, the creature takes 2d6 poison damage at the start of each of its turns. The creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on success. Any magic that neutralizes poison or cures disease kills the infestation. But if a creature is reduced to 0 hit points by the mold, it dies. And if the dead creature is a beast, a giant, or a humanoid, 1 or more Vegepygmies emerge from its body 24 hours later. 1 from a small corpse, 2 from a medium corpse, 4 from a large corpse, 8 from a huge corpse, or 16 from a gargantuan corpse.
Ooh.
Russet Mold can be hard to kill since weapons and most types of damage do it no harm. Effects that deal acid, necrotic, or radiant damage kill 1 square foot of Russet Mold per 1 damage dealt.
Okay.
A pound of salt, a gallon of alcohol, or magic that cures diseases kills Russet Mold in a square area that is 10 feet on
cool.
the side.
That's cool.
Sunlight kills any Russet Mold in the light's area.
All right. That's cool.
This is a campaign.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is spreading across the world.
Around, yeah.
Shadow to shadow.
Yeah.
You know. Oh, yeah. Axiom would have loved these. He would have been walking around with Russet Mold. He'd have been poisoned all the time. No, he became immune to poison. So, I mean, he would have just had it.
Yeah.
Everybody else would have been poisoned all the time. No, I love the idea of, hey, we're going to introduce this weird little fun race, and then also cosmic horror
Yeah.
as this mold slowly tries to take over the world.
Well, it's kind of it's a nice set of creatures, and the way it's set up, and you've got that little bit of lore you can work with. I mean, I think it's a great Underdark campaign. It's a good introduction to that, but it works in Spelljammer too. It'll work in Forgotten Realm. You know, you can put them anywhere.
I'm imagining a campaign where your party is now teamed up with Benzo Berenzan and the Drow and the Mind Flayers as they desperately try to stop this Russet Mold
from going,
that will take over everything they have.
And that's one thing you've mentioned a couple of times with these creatures we've gone through. There's a couple of them that said they only speak, and it'd be like their language.
Right.
That I see what they're doing, and that's good, but I don't like that wording.
Right.
Like, it's rare that they would speak any or understand any other language.
Yeah, for sure.
Give a little opening right there.
Yeah, this chief speaks a little bit of common.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, once again, though, we probably haven't said it in a while. Have a good night, Will. These are recommendations, sort of.
Yeah.
And you can change a few things.
We could probably go ahead and start the W's real quick.
Okay.
We got time for one W.
All right, into the W's.
So, just as we have with the other classes, we have a War Priest here.
Okay.
Now, the War Priest is, of course, going to be your cleric, right?
Right.
We have a table for holy symbols, which is a vial of iridescent liquid, hilt of a broken sword, piece of stained glass from a shrine, a clay figurine of a Kirin or another celestial, a torch carved so that a hand appears to be holding the flame, a circlet of woven reeds, a scrimshawed bone, a vessel such as a cup, jug, urn, or amphora. And then the War Priest itself is, CR 9, AC 18, 117 hit points, 30 foot speed. But again, if you wanted to have a War Priest of lower So you just tweak the numbers and the damage.
Yeah.
It has a multi-tech, 2 mauls, and it uses Holy Fire, Sacred Flame.
Right.
Plus 7 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target, 2d6 plus 3 bludgeoning, plus 3d6 radiant. Very solid.
Yeah.
And then the Holy Fire targets 1 creature can see within 60 feet of it. Target must succeed on a DC 15 Wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, it takes 2d8 plus 3 radiant damage, and it is blinded until the start of the War Priest's next turn. On successful save, half so much damage isn't blinded. Has spellcasting, Wisdom, plus 3 is the mod. Spell save DC of 15. At will, Light, Spare the Dying, and Thaumaturgy. Once a day each. Banishment, Command, Dispel Magic, Flame Strike, Guardian of Faith, Hold Person, Lesser Restoration, and Revivify.
Yeah, sounds like cleric.
You pair this thing with a Warlord, which we're going to get to probably next week, and you got a pretty good.
Yeah.
It also has a heal as a bonus action.
Of course.
Because of course it does. Twice a day each, or twice a day. The War Priest or 1 creature of its choice within 60 feet of it regains 2d8 plus 3 hit points.
Okay. I like this. I like the way they're doing this because you don't have to. I don't have to make the character to speak, or worry about a spell list.
I agree.
You've got a basic spell list to go off of.
I don't
This is the ones they had this morning.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, we could probably do Warlocks real quick.
Is it? It's
the same way, but it's specifically
Let's do it.
stat blocks for the 3 different PHB Warlocks.
Okay.
So, you played a Warlock, you know how they work. They make a pact with a creature. These are stat blocks for the basic versions of those. The Warlock of the Archfey is CR4, AC 13, 16 with Mage Armor, 67 hit points, 30 speed. But again, those numbers mean nothing.
Yeah.
Because in this situation, you're probably not going to be running it straight. You're going to be bumping it up or bumping it down. Multi-attack with 2 rapiers, or it uses Bewildering Word twice, which of course is, Bewildering Word. That's, I like that they're changing the spell names a little bit, but come on. That's cutting words right there. Come on now.
But
It's fun though. The rapier is plus 5 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target, 1d8 plus 3 piercing, plus 2d6 force damage. And Bewildering Word, it utters a magical bewilderment, targeting 1 creature can see within 60 feet of it. The target must succeed on a DC 14 Wisdom save or take 2d8 psychic damage and have disadvantage on attack rolls until the end of the Warlock's next turn. Then it has spellcasting, Charisma's the mod, which is a plus 4.
Yeah.
Spell save DC is 14. At will, Dancing Lights, Disguise Self, Mage Armor for itself, Mage Hand, Minor Illusion, Prestidigitation, and Speak with Animals.
Okay.
And then once a day each, Charm Person, Dimension Door, and Hold Monster.
Yeah.
And then it can also, of course, use Misty Escape, Misty Step, as a reaction, which recharges after a short or long rest. In response to taking damage, the Warlock turns invisible and teleports, along with any equipment wearing or carrying, up to 60 feet to an unoccupied space. It remains invisible till the start of its next turn or until it attacks, makes a damage roll, or casts a spell.
Yep.
And it works for the Archfey, so you might see these with Boggles, Quicklings, Redcaps, Satyrs, or Sprites, things like that.
Yeah.
Done that too many times tonight. Warlock of the Fiend is next. Of course, they're going to work with Imps, Quasits, and any of the other fiends that we've talked about. Again, CR7, AC 13, 16 with Mage Armor, 78 hit points, and 30 speed.
Okay.
Dark One's Own Luck. Literally, it's Devil's Luck.
Yeah.
Recharge after short or long rest. When the Warlock makes an ability check or saving throw, it can add a d10 to the roll. It can do this after the roll is made, but before any of the effects occur.
Mm-hmm.
Multi-attack for 3 scimitar attacks. Plus 6 to hit, reach 5 foot, single target. 1d6 plus 3 slashing, plus 4d6 fire.
Okay.
Pretty solid.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it can use Hellfire. Green flame explodes in a green flame blade. 10-foot radius sphere centered on the point within 120 feet of the Warlock. Each creature in that area must make a DC 15 dex save, taking 3d10 fire damage and 2d10 necrotic damage on a failed save, half as much on a success. Then it has Charisma's the mod, of course, plus 4 for spellcasting, 15 for the save, at will, alter self, Mage Armor for itself, Mage Hand, Minor Illusion, Prestidigitation, and then once a day each, Banishment, Plane Shift, and Suggestion.
Those are good.
Then it gets Fiendish Rebuke 3 times a day. In response to being damaged by a visible creature within 60 feet of it, the Warlock forces that creature to make a DC 15 con save, taking 4d10 necrotic damage on a failed save, half as much on a success. Very strong.
Okay. Yeah.
And then finally, the Warlock of the Great Old One.
Oh, here we go.
My boy. It is CR6, AC 13, 16 with mage armor, 91 HP, 30-foot speed. Whispering Aura at the start of each of the Warlock's turn. Each creature of its choice, within 10 feet of it must succeed on a DC 15 Wisdom save or take 3d6 psychic damage, providing the Warlock isn't incapacitated. That's cool.
Yeah.
Multi-attack for 2 daggers, melee or ranged, +6 to hit, reach 5 foot or range 20-60. Single target, 1d4 +3 piercing, plus 3d6 psychic. Then they get to use Howling Void, which, I mean, it's basically Ivard's Black Tentacles, but a little bit different. It's the same basic effect. The Warlock opens a momentary extraplanar rift within 60 feet of it. The rift is Scream-filled 20-foot cube. Each creature in that area must make a DC 15 Wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, a creature takes 2d8 psychic damage and is frightened of the Warlock till the start of the Warlock's next turn. On a successful save, creature takes half as much damage and isn't frightened. So instead of grabbed, they're frightened. You know?
Yeah.
But it's still very cool.
Yeah.
Spellcasting, still Charisma, of course, +4. DC 15 is the save. At will, Detect Magic, Guidance, Levitate, Mage Armor for itself, Mage Hand, Minor Illusion, Prestidigitation, and Speak with Dead.
Okay.
And once a day each, Arcane Gate, Detect Thoughts, and True Seeing.
Nice.
Very, very cool.
I like how they're kind of, in a way, they're 3 generic Warlocks.
Right.
But there's enough that you got everything there you need. You just need to add some flavoring.
Yes.
And you've got a good NPC or villain.
5. I'm looking to see how many more we have left. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We have 16 left. We can do that.
Next week?
We can do that next week.
Oh, we might finish this thing next week.
Yeah, we did quite a few this week.
We did
far more than 16 this week.
Yeah.
So we can do that next week.
Yeah. I think the Veggie Pygmies are pretty cool.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite.
Yeah.
For this. Tanarukks good to have back.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they got. I don't know. I like the setup. They're making stuff easier to run, but like giving you the spell list and
sure.
Making it once a day, not having to worry about spell slots.
Yeah.
Making it easier to run for the DM. And that's a good thing.
Like the turtles. That's fair.
Yes. The turtles were cool.
I agree. It's so much easier just to be able to go, oh, that's their spell list? Great.
Yeah, it is.
Don't have to worry about slots. Don't have to make a character.
Right.
Just to run a monster, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come up with too much. It is. It's still
not where I want it to be.
Yeah. But I'm trying to think. I don't know. I think that on the monster side of this, they seem to be doing the right. I'm very pleased with it.
I just wish that I could put in a CR and it changed the stats to match. That's the next tier for me. Is you give me these default ones.
Yeah.
And then I can go, all right, I need a cleric for a 9th level party, CR9.
Yeah.
And it punches it to it.
Yeah, it gives you the Warcast or whatever it is.
But that's a lot of work to program, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Probably.
I'm sure. A lot easier to just put out numbers.
Yeah. It is. And there's a balancing issue with everything. So in my mind, there's quite a few of these monsters that work pretty well in that range where I think it'll be the monsters I don't expect to overwhelm,
right.
But it'll be a decent fight. They had a couple of good ones of those, and they're getting a couple of Demon Lords pretty strong or has some cool stuff to it.
They're going to be cool fights, I think. I don't think there's been a Demon Lord yet that made me go, man, that's too broken. I think it's all been, hey, this is going to be tough, but it's doable.
And on that, we have the experience of, we've ran a 20th level campaign, and oh my gosh, there's a lot of stuff players can do at that time, so they definitely have to be tough.
I think people often just look at the monster numbers and go like, how are they going to beat that? It's like, look, you know how much damage a level 20 fighter can put out?
Yeah. And
level 20 Warlock?
Well, and that's the thing, man. If you got casters in the group, you're going to burn up your legendary resistances.
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah. The fight's not going to last. Yeah. Very interesting getting up there, and I think the balance is coming. I'm worried about the player side of it right now.
Right. Players are very strong.
They are.
Players are
Real
very
about just
strong.
power creep and what. Look at it. I like what they're doing with the
Yeah,
1D&D.
I do too.
But yeah, I want to see how they go. We're maybe getting around to that soon.
Yeah.
Soon.
I'll give you a tease for next week.
Okay.
We do have another NPC version of a class next week, which is the Warlord. This will be your fighter, right?
Hopefully, it has some Battle Master type stuff in there.
Yeah, it's got some pretty cool stuff in there.
Right on.
But then yeah, we're getting into some really cool stuff as we go forward there. So
Excellent.
and we
Excellent.
got a lot. There's one coming up that's got a lot of little stat blocks
Okay.
that will probably just basically cover the spell list.
Okay.
But there's some cool stuff coming. So
If the dice are kind, they can beat some serious stuff. That's true.
Level 20 party, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely true.
Yeah. But tomorrow we're going to be starting on the unicorn, the high grade unicorn Gundam
Okay.
for the full spectrum builds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Monday we'll be back with more Lotro,
Right.
and we're going to try and do a full size fellowship.
Yeah,
quest.
we're not going to survive. If you want to see our characters die,
It's going to be great.
it's probably going to happen Monday.
What do you mean? We're not going to die. Boggy's there.
Yeah. Boggy's going to die too. If things go well, Boggy dies first.
As long as the bees don't die.
All right.
And then Tuesday we'll be back with another episode of the regular podcast. Next week we'll try and finish this off. I think we can do it. I really truly think we can.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, you can go back and watch Tuesday on the channel.
Yeah.
It's not the same, I know, but you can go back and watch it.
Yes.
So. But until next time, I've been Trey.
I've been wrong.
We've been the Full Spectrum D&D podcast. Remember to always do the full spectrum. The D&D.